How hard is that to take?
Yeah, it's very hard. Extremely hard for all of us. So some pretty good girls in there, which isn't nice to see as well. But they're trying hard. And from day one, I've asked them for 100% effort in everything we do, and I feel as though that's what we got. But yeah, hard to take.
It's a lot closer than in the previous semi-final, which might not be any great comfort. But how much has this team, has Women's Rugby League, come on in this country in the last few years, and particularly in the last 3 weeks?
Yeah, listen, I remember when I got the job, and then somebody sent me over the videos of the last World Cup, and I thought, wow, what have I done? And one of the tasks was, initially, let's just get close to them. Let's just get close to them. But I'll be honest, a year or two in it, my attitude was, we're not going to get close and we're going to beat them. And I actually thought we had a side to beat them, and I thought we would do. So, somebody just said to me, you've closed the gap really well, but it's not good enough. I've not spent 5 years trying to close the gap. I've spent 5 years trying to win a World Cup.
So how do you close that gap to win a World Cup next time around? Is professionalism the answer, and how much closer do you think that we might be to that as a result of what the girls have done in this competition?
It's hard to see how close we're going to be. There's one club that's made an announcement. I think you'll get a couple more shortly. I think at times the competition doesn't help. You have all the talent in 2 or 3 sides. It doesn't help. It needs to be spread more evenly. Well, it doesn't need to be spread more evenly. It needs to be more work done to strengthen the sides that are behind. Until you get to the stage where you have to fight for every Super League game, for a win, for a yardage, for a tackle, for a wrestle, until you get that, you're going to struggle to catch these guys. Because ultimately there were certain areas in that team where we had to work potentially a little bit harder than what the girls have ever had to do before. And we obviously just came up short.
Crystal Rose has just been here and has suggested that some of your team could play in the NRLW. Is that something that you're aware that has been discussed amongst any of them? And is it something that you've tried to suggest?
No, I don't need Crystal to tell me that. I know that a lot of our players would go over there and thrive. But great clubs like York, St Helens, Wigan, Leeds are not feeder clubs to the NRL. But some of the girls are ambitious, and they do occasionally mention it. And I've had to have one-to-ones with 1 or 2 players, and my feedback is always honest. You are good enough. You are good enough without a shadow of a doubt. I don't think there's any of that 24 that you wouldn't drop into an NRLW side and they wouldn't thrive. Some would do more than thrive. But for me, it's not about being a feeder club for the NRL. We need to strengthen our competition, and until we do that, until we experience these moments, because that group of girls will, when they finally get over it, will learn a lot. They'll learn a lot. 20 points to 6 down. How do you chase a game until you've done it a few times, until you experience it? I don't know if you truly know how to do it, because it's rare. We saw it in the Challenge Cup final a little bit, but it's rare we're in them times and moments where you're up against quality across the park, and you've got to execute a really fine game plan to get a win, which is what we asked them to do, but ultimately we couldn't do it for 1 or 2 reasons.
Finally from me, how do you get over this, and when you go back to work, what's the first thing on your priorities?
Listen, I'm a real positive guy, at least I think I am. I'll get over it. No problem whatsoever. I just look at the girls and I'm so proud of them, because I've been on a journey with them. I've seen how hard they've worked, and I see how they've balanced, their lives, their lifestyles. I see the changes and the sacrifices they've made. So, I'm just so proud of them. I just can't put into words how proud I am of them. So I'll get over it. I'll reflect on what I've done. Could I have done anything more to ultimately close that gap down, or to get us a win today? There's some lessons for me to learn, but yeah, I'll get over it. I'm probably just more upset for the girls than anything, because I don't see what else they could have done. I really don't. Besides sack off work and train unemployed, I don't know what we could do. I've got girls at R5, 6 heading to gyms to get a session in before work, and then back into skills after work. you know, what more do you want from these guys? There's nothing more I want from them.
So professionalism is the answer?
Yeah, it is. It is, and I don't know how we get that. But yeah, these guys are going professional, so a decision has to be made. Do you want to compete with them or not? So yeah, there's your answer.
Thank you.
Greg, how well positioned is this group to go again in 3 years? Obviously there are some senior girls in there, but there's girls like Tara and Caitlin who obviously could be part of the England setup for a long time to come. Yeah, listen, I would hope so. It's always been a thought process that we seek out some young players, you know, your Jordan Roaches, your Holly Dodds, you know, that can go again and go again and go again. One thing we were mindful of is that we don't scar young players, because there's too many international players, both male and female, in my opinion this is, that play in international fixtures and walk away scarred and will never overcome, will never beat these guys. You know, the World Nines was about the first starting point of doing something like that, a short snippet of these guys. The PNG Tour wasn't about winning, it was about dipping your toe into something that looked like an international programme. And I think they'll come away from this, I think they'll be in a position to dust themselves down and go again and go again, but we need even more quality. I'm sure you were sort of fully engrossed in the game tonight, but over 7,000 here, really good atmosphere, 8,500 at Heading List a few weeks ago. I mean, in terms of captivating the attention of the public, do you feel like this group has done that throughout this World Cup? Yeah, I really feel they have. They've embraced that part of the game. We you know, we don't just talk rugby league. We talked about past players. We've had some of the past greats in, you know, the Lisa McIntoshes of this world. We've talked about the legacy that we want to leave behind, and that's been probably just as important as rugby league. We've talked about inspiring young players, young female rugby league players, young female sports people that might see them and want to take up the game. We've taken that serious, and I think the girls have done a great job. But you know, let's see what happens on the back of it, because you know, bigger the bottom end of the pyramid, the finer the top end of the pyramid. That's a massive belief of mine. Do you think the tournament might have enticed a couple of women's Super League clubs to maybe follow in Leeds' footsteps and start introducing incremental payments?
Yeah, I hope so. I don't want to say too much, because you don't want to put pressure on clubs that are already probably under pressure. But yeah, you know, first and foremost, I think they deserve it, and I hope that's the way it goes. On the back of payment, being professional isn't about finances; it is about money, it's behaviours. So I just hope the players that do get the financial reward embrace it and recognise what being professional is, because money isn't everything. You know, the money can drop into your account and you carry on the way you are. And if we carry on the way we are, it will be the same outcome. You know, I just hope, you know, teams, clubs, coaches, everybody, roll your sleeves up and dig in. And, you know, the money needs to be a bonus. It needs to be a bonus, but there needs to be an attitude change. Everybody needs to work hard. You know, there's a lot of players, there's a lot of people that moan about the England squad saying, oh, through the pandemic they worked hard, they did this, they did that, everything was handed to them. Well, actually, during the pandemic, the girls were meeting up in pairs, sprinting in parks, they were doing press-ups in the back gardens with rucksacks, weighted rucksacks, they were doing Zooms. Yeah, they got to drive up to Leeds and we ran them into the ground and worked them hard, but there was a lot what they did, what other players could do. So I hope professionalism and the finances entice them and push them to work as hard as this England squad. And if we get a bigger group of players that are similar to these, we'll beat the Aussies, we'll beat the Kiwis. Yeah, we'll close that gap.
Craig, have you got any idea of the schedule for next season in terms of the game, and will you be taking the team forward into next year and beyond?
Yeah, I probably won't say too much about my future. I think it was somebody else that takes the team forward. That decision was made a while ago, but I won't go too much into it, so it won't be me. I'll support from afar. You know, at the club I work at, and make them players the best they can be, because I think I've done a reasonably good job of that. So I'll fall back into my role, and I'll push the girls forward for club and country. Because one thing that won't leave me is the passion for England. You know, I'm Jamaican heritage, and I'm really proud of the Jamaican side of my family, but I was born in England. I'm really passionate about England, and I'll do what I need to do to strengthen this side, because I want success, and I'm desperate, really desperate for success.
Right guys, we'll call it there. Obviously we've got no players up, there's a mix zone downstairs. If any of your requests come through to me, I'll try and sort them out the best you can.
We'll take you down to the mix zone now. So.
Sweet.